Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make these really cute macrame bracelets. I am so happy with how these turned out. They just look so nice. And when I first started designing these, I wanted to do something different than I usually do with macrame. And so instead of using a button clasp, I used these gigantic lobster claws that I got from BB Craft. And I also wanted to play with the wax cotton cord that I got from BB Craft. I got a lot of it. And so I started knotting away with my cord, and I had an idea that I wanted to figure out how to do 3 beads right here like a cluster, and so I figured out how to do that. And then I did this ceramic bead, and then after this bead I wanted to repeat the pattern again, but I knew that in order to repeat the pattern I had to have 2 beads on this side and 1 on this side, because if I had 1 bead on this side and 1 on this side throughout the whole thing, this would not lay straight. It would start to curve like this, you know what I'm saying, because there's 2 beads on one side and only 1 on the other side, so that would cause it to curve, which I think might actually work in a necklace and be really cool, but I didn't try it. But that is another idea that I thought of while working on this. So I figured out how to get this to work. I had to get all 4 cords to pass through this bead in order to get it to work, and it was also a certain way that I have to start knotting in order to keep the pattern going like this, and I managed to figure it out, and I'm so happy I did. And I figured out how to do knotting right here for the closure, and I just think it turned out so cool. I really like how it opens. It's so pretty. And of course, for the ends of the cords, I didn't just cut the cord off. I always like to put little beads here on the end, so it's like a little beaded tassel. It's really cute. And here's the other one that I did in different colors. They just turned out so nice. Now I do want to point out to you, for some reason I made this bracelet first and then I did this one. This one here is 1/2 inch longer than this one. I don't know why. I use the same beads, same amount of beads in each bracelet. The only thing I can think of is maybe this bracelet here, I tied the knots a little bit looser, and this one here I pulled them tighter, and maybe I scrunched this together more. I slid them up more when I was knotting them. That's the only reason I could think of why this one is a little bit bigger. Here is the list of materials you will need to make a bracelet. You will need 1mm waxed cotton cord, and by the way, there is 100 yards on this roll. I got this cord from BB Craft. I will leave a link for it down there in the description bar. It comes in a ton of different beautiful colors. These here I also made with the same cord from BB Craft. I actually did a haul on this. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can go back into my videos and watch my BB Craft haul that I did with the cord. And you're going to need to cut 2 pieces of this 1mm wax cotton cord. You will need to cut 1 piece 5 feet long. That will be your knotting cord. And then for your cord in the center, you will need to cut 2.5 feet. So cut 1 piece 5 feet long and cut your second piece 2.5 feet long. You will also need 6mm rondelle beads, and you will need 24 to 21 of these depending on the size of your bracelet. And by the way, I am also using rondelles from BB Craft. They have really nice size holes. It's like a 1mm hole, and the cord just fits perfectly through these beads. So I'm using this color here, and I really love this set because of all the blues in it. I'm a big fan of blues, so there's a lot of turquoise colors in it. It's a really nice set, and there is a ton of beads in this box, so we'll also leave a link for this down there in the description bar. You're also going to need 6 to 7 10mm ceramic beads. Now these beads here have large holes, so I'm able to pass my cord through the beads 4 times, which is very important. And these are also the beads that I got from BB Craft. They're really pretty. You're going to need those ceramic beads. And you're also going to need a large lobster claw clasp. I also got this from BB Craft. It came in 4 different colors. It was a big set. I will put a link for that down there as well. And you're also going to need 6 seed beads, and I'm using white just to match the ceramic beads here. So that's what I'm doing. And you're also going to need clear nail polish, and this is to seal the ends of our cord so that it's kind of stiff and it has a point on it, so it's kind of like a needle. When you put the clear nail polish on here, you're bonding the fibers together and it turns the cord into like a needle, so you can easily string your beads. And I will put all the links and the materials down there in the description bar. After you cut your cord, go ahead and put clear nail polish on about 1/2 inch of the ends of the cord. Doing this is keeping the cord from unraveling, and it makes it kind of like a needle so we can easily pass it through the beads without it fraying. And after I put the nail polish on, I just roll it like this between my fingers, and it's just compacting the fibers together, and it's making it really thin. So go ahead and do this to all the ends of your cord. Now we're going to do lark's head knots to attach our cord to our lobster claw. So what I do is I take one of the cords, does not matter which, and I put the ends together like this so they are even, and then I find the center of my cord. Okay, there's the center. And then I hold this and I do the same thing with the other cord, put the ends together, make them even, and then find the center of this cord. So there we go. And then I put both cords together like this, and I pass them through the eye and the lobster claw. Okay, and then I open the loops, and I just straighten these cords out here so they're not all twisted around each other, and I pass the cord through the loops like this. Now we have to get our cords to be even so that when we're tying knots it doesn't get shorter one side of the bracelet, and then we have to undo the bracelet and start all over again. So we don't have to do that. You want to make sure that your cords are even. So I'm taking the shorter one here now, and I'm pulling this one tight. Okay, not too tight, just like that. And then I'm going to take my longer cords, put them together so they are even, and adjust this down. Okay, you might have to do some fidgeting to straighten them out. Let's see. This one just got twisted around that one. So I'll go like that. Okay, and there we go. This is what it should look like. And you can pull this tight. Push this up and pull that tight just like that. And you just want to make sure that your ends are the same length. And once you have them the same length, and mine are, I'll show you. See, those are the same length. And these are the same length, then you're ready to go. I found that whenever I make macrame bracelets that it's a lot easier to make the bracelet if you attach it to something. So this here is a bead loom that I designed. I have a video telling how I made this loom. It's actually called How to Make a Bead Loom, I think it is. I did a video on this long time ago, and I've used this bead loom for several different projects over the years. If you go back through my videos, you'll see it, and actually I just used it to make another loom bracelet. So anyways, I'm going to be attaching my bracelet to this hook here, and I will be making the bracelet on this loom. Now if you don't already have one of these made, you can buy something similar. This here is called a bead-along tying station, and this also works to make this bracelet. This one actually has measurements on it for you, which I don't really pay attention to that for some reason. I don't know why. I always just use a ruler, but I just wanted to show you guys that in case you don't already have one of my homemade looms. Alright, so let's attach this down here. I'm going to have this side up. I think this side's prettier than this side. It's up to you which side you like more. So I'm just going to put it on the hook like that, and I'm going to separate my cords. I'm going to put my long ones to the sides, one on this side, one on that side. Okay, so here are my two center cords. Now I'm just going to go ahead and string my ceramic beads onto these two cords. I'm doing 7. I'm just going to make sure that these are parallel, side by side, straighten the cords out. You don't want them to be twisted. And then I'm going to tie a little square knot around this screw. So I'm just going to go over and under, put it under the screw there, pull that tight, and then I can actually put these closer together, separated. Pull this tight, and then I'm going to go over and under again. But don't tie on this side because you won't be able to get it off your loom. It'll get stuck. I always go on the front of the screw like this, and it makes it easier to get that off the loom. And to get it off, you just push these together and it comes off. Okay, so to tie a square knot, I'm going to take my right cord, lay it over top of the two center cords, and then take my left cord, go over the right, under the two center and through the loop, pull the knot up like that. And now I'm going to take the left over the center, right over left, and under the center and through the loop. There's one square knot. There it is. Okay, I actually need to scoop mine up a little bit. And now I'm going to start over. So I'm going to take right over the center, left over right, under the 2 center, and through this loop. Pull that up, and now I'm going to do left over the center, right over left, under the center, and through the loop. And there we go. We have our 2 square knots. Now, putting these rondelles on can be a little tricky at first, and it was kind of confusing to me, and then I realized what I was doing wrong and how I had to do it. So, looking here, this is what we have to do now, is add a rondelle to the left side. Okay? Now, when you tie your square knot, if you look from this angle, one of the cords is going up, and the other one is pointing down. Do you see that? So this cord here is the one that's pointing up. This is the one we have to put a rondelle on. So I'm going to go ahead, slide on my rondelle. Okay, bring it all the way down. Now, the last knot I tied was with the left side, and I can tell because if you look here, this cord that's on the left is going over top. So that means that's the left knot we just tied. Okay, so now I have to tie the right side. So I'm going to take the right cord, go over the 2 center, take left, go over right, underneath the center, and through the loop. Now when you pull this, you want to pull it like this, at an angle. Because of that bead being there, we have to do it like that. Pull the knot at an angle, okay? And you want to make sure that it's tight. Now when you look at it, do you see how this cord is pointing down and this one's pointing up? That means we have to put a bead on this cord now. Go ahead and do that. Slide the bead down. You want to slide it all the way down here when you go to tie your knot, because if it's like here and you tie your knot, there's going to be like some weird friction and it's not going to move well, so then you have to undo it and slide it back down. So make sure that you always slide it up like that, up against your work before you tie the knot, okay? Now the last knot we tied was with the right side. So now I have to tie it with the left side. Okay, so left is going over center, right is going over left, under center, and through the loop. Now pull this, and this time you're going to pull it this way, the knot. Okay? Now I have this. So again, looking at it, I could tell I just tied, I have really bad memory by the way, but I could tell just by looking at this what knot I tied last. So this cord here is on the left side, I'm going over on the left. So now I have to tie it with the right side. So this cord, if you look from this angle, this one is pointing up. Can you see that? And this one's pointing down. So this cord on the left is going to be the cord that gets the rondelle bead. Slide it down, just like that. Slide those down. And then I'm going to take my right cord, go over the 2 center, take left, go over right, under the center, and through the loop. And then pull it up. Just like that. And there we go. It's really simple. You just have to look closely at it. So now I'm going to slide my first ceramic bead up. Okay, after you pull this very tight, you want to take your cords and pass through this bead. And by the way, I tried not going through this bead. I tried just going around the bead and start tying the knots again and have the cords on the sides of the bead, and that does not work at all. You have to do it like this in order to get this bracelet to work. So passing both cords through this bead, and see, because I put the clear nail polish on the cords, it makes it so much easier to pass through. You can also use clear nail polish on knots, just in case you didn't know that. So I'm just sliding the cords through here. Now I have to have 2 rondelles on this side, and so the first bead, when you go to put your first bead on after the rondelle, you have to think which side do you want it on. So I want it on this side, on the right side, so that means that the left cord is going to have to go under the center cord, because the cord that goes under the center is the cord that's pointing up, and the cord that goes on top is the cord that's pointing down. I hope this makes sense. So I'm going to take the right cord, put it over top of the center cord, and then left over right under the center. Now when I pull this up, if you look, this cord is pointing up and this one's pointing down. So this bracelet here, if you look, there is a top and bottom. This is the top and this is the bottom. Do you see how you can see the cord more on this side, and this side you see like more of the beads? Because of how this knotting technique is and how I'm doing this, they stand up on the top. So now I'm going to put a bead on my right side. Slide it down. Okay, now the last knot I tied was with the right side, so now I'm going to tie a knot with the left. So left is going to go over the center, right is going to go over left, under center, through the hole. Slide that bead down, and then pull the knot like this at an angle. Okay, now I have this. So again, turning it this way, do you see that this cord is now pointing down? This one's pointing up. That means our bead is going to go onto this cord. Okay, taking the left cord, I'm going to put a bead on this side. Now the last knot I tied again was with the left side. I could see it here going over top. So I'm going to take the right cord, go over the center cord, take left, go over right, under center, through the hole. Pull this tight and pull at an angle, just like that, and there we go. Now we're going to do our third bead. And again, every time you tie a knot, you could tell which one needs the bead, because this one here is pointing up and that one's pointing down. And it's the one that's always pointing up that we put the bead on. So I'm going to go ahead, put this bead on, slide it down. Okay, now the last knot I tied was with the right, so left is now going to go over the center, right goes over left, under center, through the hole. Pull it tight, just like that. Slide up a new ceramic bead and pass both of your cords through the bead. So I hope this is making sense so far, and I will continue to do more with you just to make sure you guys got it. There's nothing worse than having someone show you how to do something one time and then you're just totally lost and you can't figure out how to continue on, because I've been there. I've watched other people's videos where they show how to do something one time and I'm like, well, how do you do this part? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so I'm gonna slide my bead up now. Alright, there we go. Can't see my cord sticking out anymore. Now we have to have 2 beads on this side, 1 on this side, so that means that the cord, there's going to be a bead on the first bead's on the top over here, so that means that the cord on the right is going to have to go under so that the cord comes up, so we could put a bead on the left side. So I'm going to take and put this cord, I'm always do the top cord first, it's just how I am, so I'm going to put left on top, and then the right goes over left cord and then under, just like this. Okay, I hope that makes sense. And again, looking at it, this one's on the top, it's pointing up, and that one's pointing down. So then it's the left cord that's now getting the bead. Okay, now the last knot I tied was with left, so now right is going to go over center, left over right, under center, through the hole. And again, pull the knot like this at an angle so that it sits properly. Now I have this. Okay. Now the right cord is going to get the bead. Slide that down. Now left is going to go over center, right goes over left, under center, through the hole. Pull at an angle this way now. Okay, and now this cord is pointing up. So this one gets the bead. Pass through the bead there, pull that down. Okay, now it is the right cord that's going to go over the center, left goes over right, under center, through the hole. Again, pull it at an angle like that, pull it tight. Slide a new ceramic bead up. Okay, I'm gonna pass both of my cords through. Make sure that you don't cross them when you pull the cords through. Like I just pulled the right through, and I'm keeping that cord on the right side. Pulling the left through, keeping that cord on the left side. Slide it up, pull it tight. Okay, so now I have two here, one here. Now I need two on this side and one on this side. So again, I want my bead to be on this side. That's going to be my first bead. So that means that this cord has to go under. This one has to be under in order for me to pick the bead up. So I'm going to put right over the center, left over right, under center, through the loop. Pull this up. Now this cord here is pointing up and this one's pointing down. So this one gets the bead. Slide the bead down. Now left is going to go over the center, right over left, under center, through hole. Pull it tight, and again pull it at an angle. Now this one's going to get the bead. Slide that down. Okay. Right's going to go over center, left's going over right, under center, through the hole. Pull that tight. Now right is going to get the bead. Left is going to go over the center, right's going to go over left, under center, through the hole. Okay, now I'm going to slide up another ceramic bead. Okay, pass both cords through the bead. Again, it's my right cord, so I'm going to leave this cord here on the right side. Left cord. Slide this up, adjust. Okay, so now again I'm starting a new row of rondelles. So I need my rondelles to be on the left side now. Two on this side, one on this side. So that means that the right cord is going to go under the bottom because I need my bead to be on the left side now. So I'm going to put the left cord over the center, right over left, under center, and through the hole. Pull it tight. So if you're unsure, you can just go ahead and tie a knot, and then you can look from this angle, and this is how I always tell if I have it right or not, because this one's pointing up and that one's pointing down. So it's this one now that gets the bead. So I'm going to go ahead and continue doing this without you guys. If you have any problems, just rewind the video, and I'll show you what to do when you get done tying your knots. So I finished adding my beads, and I figured out why this bracelet, the first one I did, is longer than the second one I did. And here's why. So when I made this here, I put the beads on, I tied my knots, I slid this bead up, you know, and I was just going along. And after I did the parts with the rondelles, I did push this up further. I slid it up more. So this was more bunched together. So doing that made the bracelet shorter. So this was the second one I made, and when I did this one, I really did push it up so there's not much gaps in between the rondelles, and it really scrunched the bracelet up. So this one's small and this one here is larger. So this one here, when I made this one, I purposefully did not scooch them up really tight, the rondelles, and compact them together so much, because I wanted to see if that's what was wrong with it, and I was right. So this one here, I finished tying my knots and I compared it to this one, and this one is a lot longer than this one. So what I did is I started down here, I grabbed the 10mm bead and I pulled it down, then I pulled this one down, pulled this one down, pulled it down. I pulled it down pretty hard going in this direction, and then I came back up going this way, and I did it like 3 or 4 times. And now when I put this bracelet beside the one I'm working on, it's the same length. But this one here, I measured it and it was 9 inches long. That's way too big for me. So now it's at the length that I need. It's going to be an 8-inch bracelet. Alright, now I'm going to finish tying my square knots down here for my closure. But as you can see, my board here is kind of short and I don't have a lot of space to do this long closure here. I have enough space just to finish the bracelet, but to add the closure part, I'm going to have to go far down. So I'm just going to take this off my loom, loosen these cords up. Okay, and I'm just going to slide this up. So I have a hook here in the front. This is making the bracelet shorter. And now I have enough room to make my closure. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie this back down again. Okay. Now I have to tie 2 square knots, because I started with 2 square knots, so I need to finish it with 2 square knots so it looks nice. And plus I have this here. So I left off with the left going over the center. So now I have to do right over center, left over right, under center through the hole. Okay, now left over center, right over left, under center through the hole. Right over center, left over right, under center through the hole. Left over center, right over left, under center through the hole. So I'm going to continue on tying a square knot, but on this time, after I tied 2 square knots there, I'm going to leave a gap, just like this. See the little holes there? I'm going to leave this gap so that after I knot 10 square knots, I could just pass my cord to those 2 holes. So I'm just going to leave 2 little knots there. Okay, then I'm going to finish tying my square knot. See that? Just like that. Okay, pull that tight. So I'm going to continue tying my square knots, and I'm going to tie 10 square knots, and I'm going to fast forward through this because I've already shown you how to tie square knots. Okay, I finished tying my knots, and I'm just going to show you real quick how I count them, just in case you've never done this before. So, see this loop right here? I count this as 1 knot. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 square knots. So now I have to take this off my loom, and I'm going to show you how to finish it. Okay, so to make the loop on the end here, what I like to do, this is the top of my bracelet, this is the bottom, see how different it looks? I like to fold it like this down, okay, and then I'm going to pass my cords up through these holes here. Now if you feel like your holes aren't big enough, you can stick something in the holes just like this. Just push it through, it just largens the hole there for you to go through. And then you're going to split your cords like this, down the middle. Okay, So these two are going to go through this side, and those two are going to go through that side. And you have to do one at a time. Pass through. Just like that. And now I'm going to do this side. Okay, very simple. Pull them through just like this. Make sure you don't have any loose cords sticking out. Sometimes that does happen. So I pulled all of them snug, and now I have this. And if you want, you can go ahead and check and make sure looks good. Okay. Now what I'm going to do, I have all my cords through. I'm just going to tie a knot. So I'm going to go like this, make a loop, okay, and then pass my cords back through the loop. I'm not tying a really fancy knot where all the cords are laying side by side, because that's just too hard with 4 cords. It's easy to do with 2, but with 4 it's too hard. So I'm going to pull my knot down, and I have to adjust it, as you could see, because some are longer than the other. Okay. Slide that down. Looks good so far. So now I'm just going to pull them all individually, one at a time. Okay, this is what I have. So I do it again, pull one at a time, making sure it's tight. And every time you do it, I actually do it like 3 times, because it just keeps getting tighter and tighter. You'll feel them slip. Okay, it's perfect now. So that's what we have. Now I'm going to take my cords, and I'm going to pick a bead up. This is a 6/0 seed bead. Slide it down, just like that. I'm going to hold the bead like this between my fingers. I'm going to make a little loop, just like this. Slide my cord through the loop. Okay. So that I have this, and then I'm going to slide it through the loop again, and then I'm going to push this down, okay, just like that, and pull this knot down. So now I have this. Now I'm going to do that again. Pick up another bead, put it on the cord, slide it down, make a loop, and pass the cord through the loop 1 time, and then 2 times. And slide that knot down. So it's pretty simple. So I'm just going to keep going and do this to my other 2 cords. And what I like to do is I slide it down this direction towards the bracelet first, the knot. Okay. I do all of them like this towards the bracelet, and then I do my last two knots, and then when I have all 4 of them tied, I then grab the bead and I pull it down like this, because it also tightens it, and then you can cut the cords off. And you really don't have to glue these. They really are tight and they don't come undone. So I'm just going to go ahead, finish tying my knots. I had so much fun making these bracelets, and I think that you guys will enjoy them too. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. Make sure you click the bell button so you get notified when I upload new videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.